Nice to see same people showing up time and time again. That's cool. Welcome, guys. Episode 4 of the video tutorial series. It's gonna get a little bit deeper this time. Ash, do you want to pop up here too? I'm gonna send you an invite in case you want to. And yeah, so the first couple of episodes we did install, quick start installation, digging a little bit deeper. And then we did hosting, server, self-hosting, and some of the providers that are available, like Hyperhost, Hyperfy host, Hyperfy Hyper.host now. And then we moved a little bit into assets and ways to optimize assets and to use Hyperfy tools in Blender, which is a plugin that Howie made. And now we're going to dig into a little bit of what a hype app format is and some cool things that some of the community has been building to work with different branches that include mods. So if you're interested in setting up Solana or digging into some of the more experimental things that people have been doing that aren't necessarily in main branch or dev yet, this is a great thing to tune into. Peezy's been working on Hypkg, which is a mod branch manager, and May's been working on some App-Rollups and more to help do hype development and app development outside of Hyperfy and bundle it to bring it in. I'll let them kind of expand on those in a second here. In the side chat and on my screen is Hyperfy.how. This is where we drop the community tutorials. This is where we will drop all the embeds that Fractilians is recording and throws up on YouTube. So we drop all the embeds here. We put all extended links, things that have come up, and any new pages that might have sprouted from what was talked about. So this is a great place to get started. And likewise, we'll have this one up in a day or so. It's pretty quick turnaround. And it always kind of expands what we have going on here in Hyperfy.how with new information. You can find all the docs here, a little bit deep dives into guides and resources of different aspects of game design and world building, models, avatars, agents, XR, VR, etc. So it's a pretty good resource. We've been compiling everything here. If you'd like to contribute at all to the docs, you can click edit the page on the bottom of any page. It'll prompt you to fork and you can add to it. This page kind of gives a little rundown of some tips and tricks. And yeah, the search on the site is really good. So if you're coming to just kind of find something about, UI view and you want to kind of know the props that it handles and everything, it's pretty good here. You can just control K and search. And it's a pretty nice search. And so, yeah, we keep this up to date as much as possible throughout the week with all the constant changes that are happily happening in DocsRef and through different resources people share in Discord. If you want to offer a workshop to the community, here's a tally form you can click, and it'll ask you some basic questions on what you would like to offer around the time that you would like to. If you want to see a specific workshop, likewise, here's another one. You can just send it right here and it'll forward it to us and we can get it on schedule. And yeah, that's pretty much what's going on there. So I think we'll move into Peezy. Do you want to go first? I know it's a little bit later by you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So Peezy's been working on a lot of cool things, one of which is Hypkg, which was Hypkg before. Now has a nice Hypkg name, and it's great for It's great for branch management. He's been doing some good work on Solana side of things too. And so for those interested in integrating with Solana and being able to use the hyper token in world, this is a great thing to tune into. So I'll pass it over to you, Peezy. And then they stop sharing my screen.
Very good. Can you guys see?
I still got loading.
Line.
I still got loading cubes. Yes, Max
Yep,
says yes, we can see.
So, I want to talk a little bit about Hypkg, which is right now it's just a command line tool to manage mods. Up here on top, we are running a local server of Hyperfy. So for this like lesson or whatever, you must be able to do that because Hypkg runs on top of Git, which is our source control system. But yeah, let's get into it. This server right now that's running, it's running on the dev branch, the latest. So as you can see here, it's an empty server. It doesn't have any type of custom thing, you know. And we are gonna install a Solana integration. You don't have to type this, actually. You can just run the command to apply, and it will search over a few register repos all the mods that you need, right? So one thing that we are doing is that we are keeping a latest dev branch, a latest dev version of Hyperfy on your machine so that you can easily like go from vanilla to modded and vice versa. So we are going to create a new branch here. We're going to call it Solana. And then it's going to prompt you, these mods are mods that I have already released. Some of them are probably broken, to be honest, like this one from 2 weeks ago, it's probably not working. We're gonna go with the Solana branch here real quick. And I'm cheating here a little bit because I have installed the packages already to save time for us. But then we can see that the server is rebuilt. We apply this Solana package right here. And everything should be working. If we go to the next one, we're going to refresh this page. And there we can see it, a select wallet little button that we can click, connect. This first part was already done by Valerie before, you know. And now I'm going to show you guys how to actually use the Solana from the script side because we are exposing Solana to people, right? So I'm dragging here a little pipe door, which reads my balance. This is of course a DevNet, you know, and it has a little requirement of tokens, you know. But we are gonna let's give me a second. Yeah, let's check. Let's check how we are fetching a balance from the Solana integration, right? Because as soon as you connect here, we send this address to the server and also to any other client that might be connected. So it's easy from whatever place to get like the balance of a given player or something like that. It's really straightforward to do. And I showed this here on this function. It's you grab a Solana object, which is now available to us. We check if the connection is available, and if player.solana is how you access the address of any player, you know. And right here we are getting a token. Let me just move this a little bit to the side so you guys can see. This token here, it's we set DevNet and we set this address. This is the Hyperfy DevNet token that we created, and this one is of course mainnet. So this is basically how you get. I will obviously provide these hype files so you guys can check on your own time. But basically, we are getting the token from the Solana program with already all the metadata. We're getting the balance of a given player. And here specifically, we're setting this object, but we can do anything with this, right?
Quick question from Ash. So with
adding
the
Solana
Solana mod,
module,
can you use app.solana to interact with it?
yeah, exactly. From the client, you will be able to request transactions and check balance, stuff like that. From the server, you are able. You have two options. You can either set a Solana wallet address. That way, that server doesn't hold any keys. It's just a watch wallet, Or you can give it the keys, and then it's a full signing server. You can transfer tokens and stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. Love all the work you've put into this to make Solana easy.
Yeah. So let me just do a quick search for on trigger, and let's give some. I remove the functionality just to implement this with you guys real quick. So right now, if we open the door, it will open, right? And it will close. So if we are going, I'm gonna try to do this fast. I'm just gonna paste in some code here. So we are updating the client balance that we checked before. And this is a little ugly here, but you get the idea, right? You get the balance that we updated here. And we have an app config minimum amount here. And if it doesn't work, we throw an error, which will give us error mode. If it works, we throw a success mode, which was the door opening before. So right now, if we try to open, it should open because my balance is higher. But if we do like a bunch of hype, and you try it, oh wait, damn, it worked. I'm sorry. Let me check real quick right here. But this always ends up happening. Oh, I think I haven't saved the app. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what happened. Just do this again. Sorry, guys. It's live demos. So we save now. We have a bunch of hyper, and we try to open, and it tells me that I am poor, right? I can't open. So this proves this case, and also I won't show you the whole code for this other one, but you're gonna get the idea. It's a door that instead you have to pay to enter, and we can tell to open it. It should pop a transaction any day now. Maybe we have. Okay. I don't know what might be this one, but we can check this later if it's not. To save time for you guys. Yeah, I'll check this one later. But yeah, this one should have been working, but you get the idea. You can get the balance. I think Omka actually showed a demo of the taco functionality that you buy the taco and you get feedback from the world. This one is doing the exact same thing. So yeah, but yeah, that's it for Solana integration. We have obviously some other stuff we can have with the mod. For instance, we could install. One thing that I think Howie asked for was environment variables for for scripts, right? So I created this one real quick, and we can just install it. You'll see that we're gonna rebuild the world. It's gonna be seamless for the most part. Let's refresh. Oh, I didn't set I didn't set an environment variable that we could grab.
Just to really
So
briefly
this
touch
would
what you
give
what you,
us
oh, sorry, go
nothing
ahead.
right now, right? But wait, give me a second. Yeah, and yeah, well, anyways, you get the idea. It's you get the environment. You can. Yeah, that's it. Any questions? Anything?
Yeah, we have some excitement about the ability of token gating being unlocked and having like VIP areas based on kind of what you were showing with keys and having to have a certain amount of hyper or
So I know that this is hard for non-technical people, but my goal is to work closely with maybe like the Hyperfy.host guys and maybe even the platform itself to make it easy for people. Maybe we can make a nice UI where people can select their mods and stuff like that. So I think this is the hardest that it will ever be to have like a custom Hyperfy world.
very cool. I like it a lot, especially like you're saying, it makes it
I'll
easy.
stop sharing.
Sure. Are you able to hear me?
I think I muted one. Give me a second.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
No, I muted the audio. All right.
Peezy can hear me. So one thing I was asking about and what people were kind of excited about is you kind of unlock the ability for token gating and like VIP areas and having to have a certain, like you said, key or amount of hyper to access, a portion of the world
exactly.
or the world in general.
Yeah, exactly. And the next step for Solana specifically would be NFTs, right? That we can fetch NFT balance and stuff like that. Right now, we're only enabled for fungible tokens, right? Hyper, USDC, stuff like that. Everything should work out of the box. But the next step for Solana is NFTs, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And Sour's been doing some cool things with NFTs and also Ash working hard on the platform side of things with different NFTs. There's been talk of using different bubblegum things and items and things that can be interoperable and crossover about from different
one other thing
that different platforms. Go ahead.
One other thing that I forgot to mention is that it's really easy to make a Web2 world with mods, right? We can create easily a mod for like Google authentication and Stripe payment, and then you can have a world without any sort of crypto thing, I know some people are really interested in that. So yeah, that's also like a way to support that use case as well.
Yeah, I think it would be good to work on that. I know people like Tosh have been looking for Twitter auth and different Web2 auths to kind of not having to go the crypto route, the Web3 route, which I think is important to be flexible on, as Hyperfy kind of is creating itself to be for all walks, whether you're creating a game engine or a Web3 based thing or a metaverse event space, being able to use the hype apps to kind of be your building blocks and have a lot of flexibility so you can use it however you want. I think the mods is a great way to do that without having to put everything into your world if you're only looking for certain parts. So I think you're building a great resource that's going to help a lot of people set up fast and kind of take away some of that initial struggle, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And I also try to enable everyone that's been tinkering with Hyperfy. So the Hyperfy mod group fork and Maze fork are enables as repositories. So if any of you guys want to release a mod, all you have to do is npx Hypkg release, and it's gonna be available for other people to install it, right? So we can start to test like little features, little things that we can that maybe don't belong in core, but maybe we want for our specific experiences. Right?
Definitely. Awesome. I dropped a link there to the App-Rollup that May's going to talk about. Any more questions for Peezy on the awesome Hype package, or how to contribute if you have some kind of mod? Maybe we can create another pod or something to kind of create a list, or another
Yeah.
form or something to create a list of things that people are looking for, and try to sync that up with somebody in the community that can help with that. Most things we mentioned are kind of in works, or like you see already working for Solana, but like Web2 auth is, a lot of people in the last week have been talking about getting that working. So hopefully, next time we have a call, we can touch on that. And yeah, like Ash was saying, so easy. It'll only get easier.
Yeah, if any of you guys try to set up Solana and get stuck somewhere, can ask me questions. And also, and any other questions.
Can you drop
later.
Can you drop the CLI commands in the side?
Yeah, sure. I recommend everyone to do always Hypkg latest to make sure you have the latest version. I'm still iterating on it a lot. I feel like the commands themselves will never change now, but the functionality behind, I'm still tinkering a little bit with it. But yeah, you can also do npx Hypkg latest dash h, and you get all the commands that are available. You can add like a custom repository. You can release mods for yourself. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff there.
And just to clarify, is this something you do in a fresh directory before you do any cloning of the Hyperfy repo, or after, when you've already cloned?
Yeah, so you have two options. Yeah, good. That's actually a good question. You have two options. You can run it raw, like from outside any project, and it will set up a local Hyperfy world for you. It will ask you all the mods that you want. Similar user experience that we went through right now. And then you just start running a world that you can then start building upon, right? But you can also run it from an existing Hyperfy fork that's on your local computer.
Very cool. Gonna get a fresh Solana branch going and start building out Taco World more. Let's go.
Yeah, I want May to release, I want May to release the unlocked thing. It's around with 3GS.
Yeah, that's a great segue into May. We've been doing some experimental stuff soon. Thanks, Peezy. That was awesome. Thank you so much for building the things you're building. May's been working on a bunch of little tinkering here or there. One of which being the App-Rollup. Also, kind of doing some unlock mods, which exposes more things, such as full access to 3JS, which is kind of a move that we're working on to allow for more vibe coding with 3JS, like some of the latest meta craze that's been happening. So, to be able to work with 3JS geometries and hopefully cooperate better with things like cursor. And, it's still very fresh. Just happened last night. So I'll pass the floor to you, May, and you can make our eyes glaze over with all the high level stuff you've been working on.
Let me know when you guys can see the screen share.
Yep.
All right, cool. So one of the big things has been App-Rollup. It's kind of two parts. There's a CLI tool, and then there's just the rollup. So the rollup, all it does is it bundles all of your JavaScript into one single file, making it a little easier and a little cleaner to write scripts. Because I don't know about many people here, but I personally like to have multiple files that each do individual things, import things and whatnot, especially across multiple objects like Peezy stores. They all use kind of the same base code. But yeah, so the other part is a hype bundler. It takes all the information, so your props, your models, your images, your code, bundles it all up into one hype file. I don't have a really great name for it, but I've just been calling it Hype Tool for now. Hello, I can't type. So Hype Tool minus help, and this will be pushed onto probably Bitmato Studios repo somewhere. I'll link to it in dev eventually. Just all the options for what you can do. You can also create a new hype project with this. So if I do minus init, I can give it a name. So like funny app, version 1, May, URL, I'll leave that blank. I can leave that blank. It clones that repository, the App-Rollup, that's also going to be getting changed a bit. And now I have a clean working directory with nothing in it. I have the information for the hype. I just need to steal this folder and this folder. And I can just paste those in. Those folders will also get pre-added shortly. And then all I have to do is if I want this code, for instance, I can just copy it over into main. Also, that's weird. I thought I updated that. Oh, well. So just kind of making one whole hype structure inside of your file system instead of inside a Hyperfy. And now all you have to do is you can go to a terminal. For right now, I'll make a UI eventually. And if I just go to funny app, if I can type, I can run hypertool build. And now I'm also going to build the JSON header if I can type, or it's just going to be angry. I don't know why it's angry. Oh, that's why. No, it's because I changed one thing and yeah. So I forgot to have it import the JSON. It imports JSON because your props are outside. They're in a JSON file. Makes it a little easier. Now you run it. It's still angry because I don't know how to word things.
The demo gods have spoken.
I know, the demo gods are just hating us. So if I just switch that to this, now everything is right, named right. I can build it. It builds it all. Yes, this lets you do all that outside of the world. So now I have Hyperfy right here. I can take this back, go here. I have the hype right here. Click and drag it right into the world, and it just works. It has all the metadata that I set inside of my rollup right here. So author, version, name, URL to the description. I have it auto unique by default. And then, hey there. The code. Yes, you can. There's some rollup plugins. I'm going to be setting some things for that soon. I don't know why the code editor is being stupid. It really likes the corner. There we go. And now it's a packaged code, so you don't need to worry about having to write multiple of the same thing. I have a couple of little libraries that I'm working on. I'm going to be working with Peezy for more, especially with that Solana stuff. But for instance, if I wanted the game object class I've been working on, I can just import game object /lib/game object, and now I can just make a new game object. Send rate, I don't want it to update, so I'll just set that to -1. Send state false. And now I also include all this other code that I didn't need to do before. And now if I just build, I get all the same scripts, and I can just click and drag the new one right into the world. I can inspect it. That's not the right one. I don't know why it's not doing the thing. What is wrong with you? It helps if I edit the right code file. Oopsies. There we go. Now if I build it. If I build it, I can bring it in, inspect, and now all this code's here and I didn't change anything.
Very cool. Ash is asking if he wonders if the app itself could do a hot module replacement over the WebSocket. It's all an app.
If you switch apps from just being raw JS to modules, then yes. The SES gets a little upsetty at real-time loading. So that might be something we have to look into, making it let us do that. But it is technically possible. And would be greatly appreciated. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, so... But now you have a lot of things that are just already done for you. This game object's also technically networked. It kind of works. Shit keeps breaking. But instead of having to write netcode for every single thing, it makes both vibe coding a whole lot easier to do because it can call a standard set of functions that it knows what the outcome is, so it doesn't have to interact with the app emits and on events and all that junk. And it also gives people just an easier way to interact with the app itself.
So does that translate over to app emit wrote on like that in the hype code, or is it using a different?
Yeah, it does all that. It just completely not obfuscates, abstracts all that, like sending state, sending ownership. So these objects, you can set an owner or take ownership, I should say. You can add event listeners to it. You can call event or add custom events, and it takes all that code that I've probably written 100 times at this point and abstracts it into a slightly easier package to work with.
And so if I was to download this hype from your world, would it play nice with other things that didn't use your bundler?
It would just work.
Okay. Good to know.
So the bundle, all it does is it's adding JS code so you don't have to rewrite it over and over again. But I can just find any generic hype like the avatar state. Which one works? This one might. Is this supposed to be animated? I haven't really messed with this. Oh yeah, rotate. Yeah. And this one works and it doesn't use my system.
Very cool.
But yeah, that's about it on App-Rollup and Hypkg for now. I'm going to have repos out soon. I've just been more worried about making it work.
Yeah, no, it looks very cool. Looks like it's gonna, like you say, save some time and do the abstraction and save some like reproduction of work that you kind of have to go through sometimes.
Yeah. Also, I'm working with Peezy on with his mod system, making some metadata in the hype file itself. If I can find where I did that, probably in here. Yeah, so some metadata, so like required mods, so that you can't run an app that it doesn't have the mods for it. So it will default crash cube anyways, but making it a little easier to get a nicer warning out of it, or just refusing the app to be loaded or whatever. We'll figure that part out, but making it just a little easier to just throw shit in. Transpile rush to app. So, okay. There's one thing that this lets us do, technically, and I'm going to have some docs on how to do it. You can use App-Rollup with WebAssembly. I'm working out the specifics on how that works, and I didn't want to talk too much about it, but thank you, Ash, for bringing it up, I guess. So yes, technically we can do WebAssembly inside of these. So if you wanted apps that just ran really fast, or did really specific things, that you would want WebAssembly for, like PhysX, if you wanted to run PhysX twice, I guess, you in theory could.
That seems like a good segue into some of the unlocking things that you've been working on. And
oh boy, yeah. So if I can find a browser, so I can put a link. Hyperfy unlocked. We've been tinkering around with getting unlocked Hyperfy. So we're giving an instance of 3JS. I also gave an instance of global this for the iframes. Performance is to be determined, but you can interact with
got 1,000
3JS.
1,000 fish in the same.
Fish, quote unquote. But yeah, it's definitely going to make vibe coding a little easier. We were also talking about actual practical use cases too, outside of just vibe coding. For things far off in the distance that you still want some resemblance of it being a model or animated. So if you had a plane in the distance, but you didn't want it to be a full app and have an update and a lifetime and all that to manage, and you just wanted it to be a stupid little brick in the corner, that's a thing you can do with this. This is also going to be a mod on Peezy's system fairly soon. But yeah, and then you can also interact with other 3JS add-ons, such as the water plane that's on the floor.
Very cool. Also with the Rickroll there, we're trying to get iframe in the
videos.
World. Videos are half unlocked. Working on getting it from the screen UI into the world, and CSS 3D rendered object too. So we should be able to do some more video sharing and such. I know Fractilians will be happy about that.
I think I just told like 3 people that it's coming soon.
Coming soon. I know we got some people that want to teach workshops and stuff in World and want to have access to videos and stuff like that. So it's getting there. Hopefully we'll have it ready before your workshop.
Yes. And the water is pretty. There's a cube or a trash can somewhere. It won't work in everyone's world unless you go through Peezy's mod, but I'll put the hype in somewhere.
The broken trash can is the iframe, which I'm
Really?
still not sure. Yeah, it's broken, but it's working. Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Work in progress. I think because
I'll snag that one too, I guess.
yeah, take a look at it. We need to tinker with the 3D object
so
rendering.
we also expose out. How are you doing the grabbing video on this?
It's iframe pulling YouTube embed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so exposed iframes exposing the CSS 3D renderer for rendering iframes in world and Node or in 3JS. A little tinkering that we still need to figure out why stuff doesn't really want to work, but it's
close. I think it's just the ordering of how we're trying to do it. It's almost
yeah. But this mod's also going to let us get away with more custom shaders, fragment, factor, or vertex, all those fun ones, making things like the portals look like portals. Multiple cameras, like something for mini maps. There's a handful of use cases for multiple shaders. You can get away with some really funky lighting without actually needing to put in world lights. Along with being able to put in world lights.
with some mindfulness, as we've noticed.
Yeah, so 3JS, I can't tell if it's a 256 cap or a 128 cap, but anything over about 100 point or 10 pointing in one specific spot gets really weird. 10 throughout a scene's fine. 10 in a confined area, you might wanna not do that. And then after the 199 mark, it just completely kills your renderer.
Experimental mode.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things too. There's going to be a handful of libraries for pure 3JS coming in soon. At least ones that I've written. If there's anyone that wants to add libraries, they can make a PR on the App-Rollup or nag somebody enough to make them one. And either that'll get added into the core libs or it'll be a separate thing. Not sure how that's going to work. But I'll have docs for all this soon as well.
Yeah, I think Peezy, if you didn't already, made it one of the high package branches too. So we'll have like a vibe coding high package.
Yes.
So we'll have plenty of flight simulator and water plane games coming in the next week. Wink, wink, level.
Also,
I know you're listening.
Also, Ash Unlock gives us math.random finally.
Right, Dr. George. Because we didn't already have jets, but we want little low poly planes.
Jet skis. I was trying to get a different water plane.
Just to spite you, he says.
I feel so spited now. But yeah, we're still tinkering with this. There'll be a ton more documentation on how to do unlocked, and I think okay, I might steal you for a bit one day soon. Get some unofficial official docs for unlocked.
Yeah, let's do it. I think it's important to do, especially if the goal is, to do some vibe coding unlock. It'd be good to have some docs to feed into the cursor and cursor rules and stuff.
Oh, also speaking of cursor, vibe coding, super easy with libraries and the App-Rollup system. It really likes to break things up. So instead of having a 2,000 line file for it to get fed, you can feed it 100 lines at a time. No, Doge is at like 4K. Just makes that whole process a whole lot easier. And you get less hallucinations and major breaking changes for no reason. 3,000 lines are buzzed. No.
If it works, it works, please. Doge says. I say, what is it?
Yeah, is there any questions for either Hype Tool, App-Rollup, or Unlocked? This is a little more than I was planning on talking about today, but yeah.
No, thanks for covering it. I mean, when you were asked to come on, this unlock wasn't even a thing yet, so thanks for ad-libbing.
This was a thing that came out yesterday.
16 hours ago or something.
No. Yeah. 5 a.m. last night. Yeah.
Water, yeah. And the nice skybox there is courtesy of Doge too. It does some really nice effects on the water as well. You can also do stuff with UV scrolling, which is actually kind of how that water is working, right?
Yeah, so technically it's UV scrolling, so you could do this in Core right now. Just we're using 3JS. 3JS is native APIs for it.
Very cool. Any questions from the audience there? From May. May's doing some big brain stuff. I think everyone's just excited, like starting up their world and trying to figure out how to get that water in there right now. So we got all the geometric fish underway. How he's messing with their fish. They're not cones or turtles. Well, I guess they are turtles. They're turtles and fish. Looking to have some spawning similar to some of the mushroom and monstera and aloe things that you've seen to help create instances of fish. A couple of us been playing with fishing minigames, fishing rods and such, kind of expanding on things that Shifty's made and introducing this new water plane, playing off of Gert's like mushroom spawning to make fish, and then using some of the on-screen UI that Ash introduced. That's a game changer, and looking to have some Zelda-like fishing games coming out here pretty soon. Keep an eye out for that, or if you want to contribute in some way to that, tune in. We're often in the general chat, hacking all hours of the day. Water worlds, let's go. I think maybe I'll piggyback and show this snippet thing I've been working on too, just to see if it has any interest. Seems like kind of a good follow-up to you.
If Discord will show me my buttons, yes. There we go.
And so similar, like trying to create solutions for dealing with multiple hype apps, or when you're kind of in the building process, maybe more on the dev side or code side, and to expand on kind of docs situation. I started working on this hype deck, which the idea of it is to help you work with snippets. So kind of went through and took all the docs of all the API refs and created like ready-made snippets of how it should look like in your hype code. And so this has Monaco editors. You can have as many open as you want. You can name them, and then you can. There's some hotkeys like all M will show you all the ones you have open. All S will bring up the snippet manager, and then so you can. Every hype app needs a app.configure, so you can start by sending that over there, and so it sent it over here. Then say I want to move on to something else, so we go to audio, and I want to add that to it, so it creates like the basic things you'd have for audio. Some of this needs to be polished to make sure that some of the props weren't hallucinated in the creation, so it's not fully up to speed yet. But then after you have added something like audio, you're like, oh wait, I need my audio configure, and so you could go to audio, or search didn't want to work there, and say, oh, so you needed to add the file. So then you can add this, and because it's an app configure, it'll say, hey, do you want to replace the app configure you have there, add it to existing? So you can add it to existing, and it actually puts it at the top here with the app configure. Obviously, I didn't choose an audio one right now. Like I said, we're working on some of the snippets to fill in all these options that are here for you. And this is kind of created for the idea of, obviously, you can't see this hype working here on this. This is not in world. This is outside of world. But say you wanted to make a couple of iterations of stuff similar to some of the like foundational hypes that people are working on, you could have a couple side by side and start making like a basis and then expand upon it and do that a few times and then go test it in the world and kind of save yourself some time of copying and pasting and stuff. And so I think like things like this in combination with what May's working on and Peezy's working on can create a nice dev flow. Ideally, the more that we can have in world is better, but sometimes, working on things like I'm building a UI thing that just pops text up, and then I want to build a UI thing that's a billboard and has like adaptable width and length of the UI, and then I want to add an image to it. I like to go in here and kind of make the first one, copy it over, add the thing I need, copy it over, add the thing I need, and then I can save the hype, and I have 4 hypes in as much time as it was going to take me to find it in world and open it up and all these things. So yeah, kind of working on that and building out snippet library. Downloaded all the hypes that are currently in the All Hypes channel. If you haven't noticed, this was a good resource that is a stepping stone, at least for now. That was recommended as a first place to kind of compile everything by Maximus, and HP hopped on board and scraped everything from Discord and put all the direct links to all the hypes that have been shared all the way to the point of when hypes were created, only a few months ago at this point, not even. And we also zipped all the hypes as one big zip and per creator too. So any hype that has been mentioned in Discord is there right now. You can also always go to Hyperfy.host. I think you guys updated it too, right? So should redirect. Yep. So Hyperfy.host will bring Hyperfy.world.host, same thing. There's an apps page here. This is a marketplace that, are free, but you can also give people Solana tips with hyper tokens. They've been doing a pretty good job of curating this and people adding different hypes. And these ones you can drag and drop directly into a world. So there's a couple of resources there to get you going. with hypes, and we'll keep adding to databases like this. And there's talks of, with the Hyperfy new version coming very soon. It says Hyperfy.how, thank goal. And also talking about ways to integrate the platform that's being made for different hypes and avatars and things you can buy with Hyper, and to have like a community database of ready to go hypes that you can access in world or through the platform as well. And so this will help people to get going with combinations of what they need easily. And if some of these things were like, whoa, I didn't realize I had to do all that, you don't. If you're digging into developing hypes, these are some of the tools that people have come up with to just make their lives or dev lives easier, or iterate faster, which will help create more ready-to-made hypes for more of the user base that is ready to drag and drop in the ones that they want and get going without needing to do too much changing on them. The way that all the hypes are set up too, there's a settings pane, inspect pane for all of them. And so if the props are created in a way that allows you to change, there's drag and drops, or there's sliders and drop downs and switches and now buttons that give you the ability to change what you need to change. Rickroll. So for example, if I'm in here, this one has the ability, it's a hyper portal, you can change the XYZ. If I check out this X over here, this is what's controlling the skybox. So this allows you to change the sky JPEG, the HDR. Doge has gone above and beyond on this, being able to change the intensity, the fog that's in the scene as well. You combine the particle fog that Shifty was working on. You change the color of the fog, the thickness, the height, the color of the sun texture. You can choose to animate the fog or turn animation off. So all these options are, you don't need to dive into the code to interact with them. And the way that is done is up in the app config, which, what do you got going on here, Mr. 4,000 line code? Where's your app? How is your app config at line 388? Wow. Okay. Anyway, so app config here. These are the things that translate over to sections here and allow you to change different things. So when people add things to app config, you can choose file input, switches, drop downs, buttons that allow for easy manipulation, and whatever you put in these props will fill itself in the proper places within the code without you having to go in and manually figure out where that is and change it. And so the more options that the creator of the hype gives, and the more kind of like building blocks that we can create, the easier it'll be to use hypes together and pretty much create whatever your heart desires in Hyperfy. And so, yeah, that's kind of our deep dive. It just works. More power. You could just do things. So that's kind of the deep dive in hypes that we wanted to go over again. Anyone have any questions or comments or want to share something while they're in the audience or anything? Looking for the day-night fog hype. Doge, do you have fog hype that you can drop? You mean the one that I was just looking at, Fractilians? Yeah, I can just drop it. No problem. It might be in the hypes channel. If not, I will drop it Yeah, totally. And part of what we're saying too, with All Hype's channel kind of being a stepping stone, is Discord has a pretty all right search, but at the end of the day, it's not the best, especially when you're sharing files and stuff. It doesn't like to really search that well. So it's good. Yeah, so it's good. It's good for now to put all the things there, but some of us are looking at different ways to create databases and stuff that will allow for more. Here is day night fog in the side. Oh, Jinx, gotcha. Nicely done. Go off of his updated one. I'm gonna delete mine because I'm guessing that his
Is this
baby.
updated?
Yeah, if it's updated and he's the mastermind behind that one, I would go with that hype. That's another thing too that we've been talking about, like version control of hypes. A lot of things have shifted in the last week or so with some of the, especially with some of the like app on, app emit, world on, that allows for communication between different hypes has changed a little bit, and so some of the hypes needed to be updated. Some of them, weren't working anymore, and so now there's new versions. So if you ever notice one that you pull isn't working right, it'd be good to like reply to it and say, "Hey, this one seems outdated. Where's the new one?" And we can, replace that rather than having duplicates in the hype channel that are confusing. So doing some sort of version control would be super helpful, I think. Also, within the hypes, you can notice like this meta here. So in the meta, you can put, the author name who created it, a good description of it, a link to your world or a link to your repo or something like that. You could drop an image, which Ash, I've noticed that the images aren't really showing up here. I'm not sure what's up with that, but some of us noticed that it should be showing an image here if you drop an image in here. But it doesn't seem to be working right now. I'm not sure what happened there. And so yeah, the more information that you can put in here, the better to showcase what you've been working on and send people to other places. Also good, in situations like this where Shifty's been pumping out all kinds of cool things, you can send them a tip right here in Hyper on Solana through their platform, which is really cool. A lot of hypes are just being offered up to the community as everything gets going, but maybe in the future as things are a little more niche and specific kinds of hypes, maybe people will be offering them up for a donation or purchase or something like that. Thank you, Ash. So yeah, I think that's about it for today. We're a little bit over an hour. That's pretty good. We jam-packed a lot in there. Anyone have any questions, comments, or want to share something? All right, sounds good. Well, as always, we captured a recording. We'll get it thrown up on YouTube in the next day or so. We'll put it up on the Hyperfy site here. It'll be embedded. It's on YouTube. We're looking at maybe expanding and getting some more action on Lens and stuff too. But for right now, you can find it on the YouTube for Hyperfy. Find it here on the embed page. If you feel inclined, subscribe, like, all those things that people feel like they need to say. And you can also find the builder community calls here, which are also all here. So builder calls will show up here. There's a new one to add that recently happened. And we're working on also adding more details on links and stuff that come up in the call. So ideally, this will continue to be a resource that kind of allows you to rabbit hole through everything that you need and, see some of the cool things like Hyperfy. Oh, broken link, demo gods. Noted. Put that in a new tab. Hyperball is kind of being worked on. If anyone wants to help finish it, this could be a good sporting game. I think we have some good additions now that could make it even cooler, especially with the items and stuff that Ash has unlocked in the last couple of days. All right, sounds good. Take it easy. See you next week. Next week, we have talked a little bit about maybe going into some VRM stuff, but stay tuned. We'll let you know who is available and what's going to be happening. Take it easy.